Welcome to the Social for Brokers podcast. Today, I have got a phenomenal guest for everyone. It's somebody who actually I had a call with talking about their social media, and she really inspired me after a first chat, and I just knew I had to get her on the podcast. So Hannie, who you'll see here if you're watching, and if you're listening, we'll introduce her shortly. She actually started in the industry at just 17 with a building society, and by the age of 21, she was managing a team of mortgage consultants. What she found, though, after speaking with loads of mortgage brokers, she realised she wanted to be in the industry, but there was nobody at the time that would take somebody on with no mortgage experience. So luckily, she found a good company that she could shadow. And at 23, she set up, 23 years old, set up her own company as a mortgage broker, which I just think is phenomenal. So I wanted to get into how she did that. And it's something I wouldn't have even contemplated doing at 23. So huge kudos to her. So we're going to talk about how Hannie started the company, which might be useful for a few people out there that are thinking of doing it. How she gets her leads, because the majority of them do come from Instagram. So we're going to have a talk about social media, and also about how her team is growing even further than the 3 members of staff that she's got at the moment. So Hannie is here from Mortgages with Hannie & Co. Welcome, and thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much. Gosh, you're making me blush. that introduction. Oh no, thank you. It's it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Hannie's taken a time out after being off last week on holiday. This week has kind of come into the base rate changing, coming into all these product changes. So we were actually chatting before the podcast, and we was talking about editing things out. So you can hear I nearly fumbled the entry to that podcast. So it's all just conversation. It will be us.
Yeah, it's got to be natural.
Right. So let's start from when you left college. Why did you go to the building society?
To be completely honest, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was 17. When I left school, I went to college. Again, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do a topic that was specific to one industry. So I just went with journalism, media journalism. So that's what I studied at college. Yeah. I actually was going to university. So I got accepted into York University to do business studies. Again, I just thought it was the right thing to do at the time. Anyway, in between that period of me, it was the same year I was going to start university in the September. It was early on in the year. I was doing a bit of work, just saving, working as much as I could. And I got essentially found online. I must have uploaded my CV somewhere, and I can't remember. It was such a long time ago, by a building society. And they contacted me and said, we've seen your information online. Would you be interested in coming in for a chat? And I was like, I had no idea what to think. I thought, why not? I knew the name. It's a big building society, so I thought, okay, why not? So I went in for a chat. They offered me a job there on the spot in the customer call center team in mortgages, and I thought, why not? I'll see how this goes, do it for a year, defer my university offer, and I'll just go next year, save up a little bit. Anyway, so as you can see, I joined. I did not go to university because I absolutely loved it. I started at the Building Society in mortgages. I had no idea what a mortgage was until I joined.
How old were you then? 18 after a year?
So I've been doing it for about a year. I was 18. I'd just about learned what a mortgage was and how it all worked, because you don't learn things like that at school. You don't. This building society taught me pretty much everything I know today. I worked my way up quite quickly in the building society. So I was in the call centre area for a year. Then I moved down into mortgage underwriting. So I became an underwriter. So a lot of the behind the scenes that current mortgage brokers
maybe don't
So I did that for a few years. Ended up managing a team of mortgage consultants. I got my first leadership role at 21, and then went back into underwriting, managing the mortgage underwriters, I did that all the way up into what we know as the global pandemic, as COVID.
What was it? The one that, I mean, that's incredible to go from 17 up to 23 to managing staff. But at what point did you turn around and go, right, that's me now. I want to move on to the next thing?
So as an underwriter and managing the underwriter, we've always worked very closely with brokers. You know, we as a lot of brokers that will be listening to this, work with business development managers for different lenders. So we worked very closely with them, often going out on visits with them. So there were occasions I went out with the building society's development managers, speaking to brokers. And I just knew as I were visiting these brokers, I thought, oh, that was, I think I could do that. I've been qualified as an advisor for a few years at that point.
Okay.
So I could, I was qualified to do the job. I'd just never actually been in an advising position. So I've always been in mortgages, 7 years or so. I've always done a mortgage related role. So I could, confidently say I know everything mortgage, as much as there is to know about mortgages. And it was when I was talking to brokers all the time for years, I thought I'd love to do what you're doing, just because you see the customer journey from start to finish. And I was only ever really the middle of the mortgage side of things, and I never saw it through to the end. That's it. It was good. I got them the mortgage, I got it all sorted, and that's it. But you never saw it after that. And I knew I wanted to be there for the full journey of the customer. And it wasn't actually until COVID, we all got sent home. We were all working from home. So I worked from home for about a year. And I just thought, now is my time, I think, which sounds crazy thinking about it now in the middle of a global pandemic. I was in a secure employed position that I absolutely loved. Lots of benefits, lots of progression. It was very sad to leave, but I thought, I think I need to do something now. And I just had this rush to do something, to just do it. Exactly. I spoke to a few firms, and like you said earlier, nowhere were interested because I had been a mortgage advisor.
So you went to companies and said, like, I've got this experience. I worked for a building site for 7 years. I've managed mortgage consultants. I've managed, I know what I'm doing, but nobody would give you that chance.
No, they all wanted 1 year's minimum advising experience, and I even said to a firm, I will work for free as just a trainee mortgage advisor, just to get that experience. I will work for free for you. I just wanted that experience, and they just weren't having it. So it was really tough. Luckily I knew someone that I worked with. Unfortunately, it was a case of knowing someone, and I hate the fact of that. I hate that because I don't think that's fair. But I knew someone that I worked with at Skipton who had gone off and done something similar, and they said, come work alongside with us, self-employed, your mortgages with Hannie, but we'll try and support you, and I don't think, if it wasn't for them, I guess it'd be, I don't know where I would be. So I kind of shadowed them for about, 6 months. And then I went off, and I thought, right, I'm ready. Joined a network, Mortgages with Hannie officially live. There was a lot of tearful days, don't get me wrong. I thought, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? Yeah. But I think you've got to go through that.
You were at a standing start, weren't you? And I think a lot of people out there, the pandemic's brought that on to say, maybe I do want to do my own thing, especially mortgage brokers, because a lot of mortgage brokers will have their back book to rely on. But you were literally, you had nobody at Skipton. You had to start from the very beginning. So I want to go through the stages of this, because the first thing is, the big thing on this podcast at the minute, talking about women in financial services, that it can be done. You've proven it can be done from a standing start. But also somebody of your age as well, regardless male or female, it doesn't matter. That is somebody is setting up at that age, and you haven't made the contacts that you would have made maybe at 35 years old. So again, you're on a bit of a back foot. So I want people to hear the exact process you went through to setting up. So first thing was the brand. How did you come up with your name?
I know it sounds like not a lot of thought went into it. I'm not going to lie, Mortgages with Hannie, but I think I just wanted something personal, and it did take me a long time, and I was thinking of all these weird and wonderful names. You see all these financial solutions, or financial services, all these different names, but nothing's very personal. And I just thought, mortgages with Hannie, that's what it is. You're coming to Hannie for your mortgage.
It sounds like a chat, doesn't it? Opposed to like a really formal appointment.
Yeah, and I just thought it's really simple. It's very clear what I do, and it's personal. It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not. Obviously, I'm a professional, and everything is done very professionally. But it's not as if you feel like you're going to a professional.
Yeah.
I always, refer to myself. I'm as a teammate. I'm more of a teammate than your advisor. So, and I thought that was just very fitting. And I ran it past, family, friends, and they were like, "Yeah, fantastic, mortgages with Hannie." It just says what it does on the tin, So, and it was, as simple as that. And I thought, okay, I do think, if I can change it in the future if I need to, because it was a big decision. The name, if that ends up growing, what am I going to do? And it has grown, and I've now tweaked it because there's more than just me now. So we're now Mortgages with Hannie and Co.
I think it's got a nice ring. I think it has got a nice ring, and I love the color palette that you've chosen as well. The color, was that intentional? Because sometimes colors are just by complete accident, but it sounds like you've got somebody to do it.
No, I did all that myself. Okay. I've done all my designs, colours, everything myself. From managing my Instagram and socials to start with, all the way through to my website. I designed all that myself. Not that it's slightly questionable now, but I did have a totally different colour palette to start with. Just so you know, it was like a dark purple, maroony, pinky, that kind of palette. And I just remember it was actually my mum and my auntie, because my auntie's she's in quite a professional position. I ran it past those two, and they just went, no, just absolutely not. So I thought, oh gosh. So it didn't, for anyone that is thinking of doing this, it doesn't just all come to you straight away at the start. You will go through different ideas. And I was really set on it, and I was absolutely devastated when they said, no, it's not right. So I had another think, and that's when I started playing around with some colours. And the blue, I wanted to kind of be quite I refer to myself as a fresh thinking, I wanted something quite clean, and blue, naturally, I just thought that was fitting. I redid it all with a few different shades of blue, and I thought, you just know straight away when you've done it. Yes, I love it. Yeah, you just know.
To people that are listening, go and follow Hannie's Instagram, and you'll see the colours that we're talking about there. So you get the website set up, you get your branding done, you then jump onto social media. So we're going to talk about your social media now.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the steps that you took to get this, what percentage of leads come through social media for you?
To start with, when I first set up, it was 100%.
Wow. That's how powerful social media is for you. And what is it now, kind of 2 years down the line?
I'd say about 60%.
Okay. Where does your other 40?
Quite high. Word of mouth and referrals now.
Right. I think is sometimes can be social, because if you're referred on social, which is where the majority of stuff's happening now, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think, I do not think I would be here without social media.
That's it. It's got to be part of any business. So let's take a step back. How did you get your first followers? So you set up your Facebook page, you set up your Instagram page. How do you get from 0 to your first 10, 20, 30 followers?
I started with my, obviously, closest circles, family, friends. You just absolutely hound them till they share their life out of you, just to reach as many people as possible. So I did that. I was pushing people to share, people that I knew to share and follow and like as much as they could. And I did actually do a giveaway. A giveaway online. So I found that was a very powerful way of increasing my following. So I had some, I got a Amazon Alexa, a what a smartwatch. It does take a little bit of investment at the start. It's always the case. You've got to, put in to get something out. But so I got a little Amazon Alexa, a smartwatch, a branded mug, some pens branded to me, a canvas touch, so a lot of branded stuff to mortgages with Hannie. And I did a giveaway, and I was like, like the post, share the post, tag your friends on the post, and you'll be entered into a giveaway. And I got a lot of shares, a lot of likes, because people love free stuff, don't they? So it worked. And I think that probably upped my following.
Kickstarted it,
about 300-400, quite quickly. And it was like getting extra.
And then sorry, I interrupted you there. Carry on.
I was going to say you get an extra entry if you do it on Instagram as well. So I was channeling proper, really trying to channel both platforms.
Both platforms to get as much reach as possible.
Yeah.
So when you've then posted, so you've got all your followers, you start posting. And before I go into this, what's your favourite platform?
Instagram.
I thought you'd say Instagram straight off, but do you have to think between Instagram and Facebook then?
I get most leads off Facebook.
Right, okay.
But my favourite platform is Instagram, just because I think there's more. There's so much you can do with both, but I personally feel there's more you can do with Instagram because of the different. I know you've got stories on Facebook, but stories on Instagram was first. They were doing stories first, and there's a natural. I know what I'm like when I'm scrolling on social, when I have the time to do it on social media. I'm just constantly clicking through people's stories. So Instagram was I think was a better way to start with, and probably is still now, of that marketing side of things and posting, videos of myself, all that kind of thing. I think people listen to it more on Instagram because that's all you can do. Facebook, there's distractions, you've got posts in between, you've got lots of other people sharing things, but Instagram, it's very much, you see it and that's it. So I prefer Instagram.
Yeah, because Facebook, you can go on Marketplace, you can go on groups, do you know what I mean? You've got gaming, you've got dating, you've got, Instagram is right, you're here.
That's it.
Content, that's all you're. Yeah, it's quite interesting actually. A lot of people have said this, and me included, is at the moment you get a lot of interaction from stories because people like that. When you're using stories, I'd recommend you post your behind the scenes content.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, well, talk us through, what do you upload to stories?
Haven't done it. I'm not the best at it. I'm not going to lie. Definitely need to improve. And I probably haven't done it as much as when I first started, just from a time point of view now. When I first started, I was doing kind of Q&As. So you post a story with the question box. People can type in a question, and then you answer it in your next few videos. So I really like stories for more kind of interactive, more of an interactive way of speaking to people. So that I found quite good at the start, and I had lots of feedback from it, direct messages saying, oh, that's really helpful. I had no idea. So just I try and use it as more of a kind of helping tool, as opposed to, naturally it brings in business, but I like to just help and give,
Put in there, but the Instagram stories, I think what you've done very cleverly, which I don't think you've realised that you've done, is you've added it to your highlights on your page as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So the highlights, what you can do with an Instagram page is when you do a story, you can save it to the highlights. If you go to Hannie's Instagram page, at the top, you'll see all of her Q&As are in like a little highlight story. So even though you've done that content, it's past, you've reused it for something else as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Saving time, isn't it? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's helpful because I've not got as much time now to keep doing that. So at least there's still content there for people that'll help people. Common questions that other people have asked previously, they can still see it. It's not just disappeared in the 24 hours that a normal story does. So I think it's important to save it.
So stories are really useful for that side of content. When you then post something, how often or how much time do you spend on social every day after you've posted something?
Not a lot of time.
Okay.
But I do think, well, I guess we're referring to now or when I first started.
At the beginning. So let's talk about.
At the beginning, I was constantly refreshing the page.
Were you like responding to people and doing everything?
Constantly refreshing. Yeah, I would sit on wherever I'd posted it or flicking in between Facebook and Instagram because they're probably my two main platforms. Refreshing, seeing if someone shared it, and someone liked their post. If anyone comments, responding back to them. So yeah, absolutely, I was very, very on it at the start. And
you've almost laid those foundations. So you've been on Instagram to do the Q&As, you're responding to people. That then can be created into content that you're using now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's at the beginning, it takes a lot of hard work. You're talking maybe 2-3 hours a night at least on social.
Oh yeah, absolutely, minimum.
And this is at the beginning. What I want to get across to people is if you are starting at any business, is you need to be on social every single day. You need to be showing up. You need to be putting your face out there, because in 2 years' time, you'll be in the position where Hannie is, where she's getting 60% of the leads from social. She's getting 40% from referrals. And you really haven't had to spend anything on marketing, have you?
Exactly. Yeah.
What other platform allows you to do that? You haven't had to fly, you haven't had to kind of like advertise locally. So we've nailed Facebook and Instagram. We've got that.
Yeah.
We're going to go on to the magic word at the minute, which is TickTock. I'm asking everybody this: it's becoming more prevalent in the mortgage world, but I think what we've realised, it doesn't have to be silly dances anymore, does it?
No.
What are you doing on TikTok at the minute?
Gosh. So I have only recently started. I say started. No, please, no one go look at it just yet. It's not. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Everybody's learning. Everybody's going to start something.
Yeah. So I have obviously. I can see how powerful TikTok is. I've seen other mortgage brokers on there, and my gosh, they're just. I sit through their videos, and I just. They're fantastic. So I know I'm missing a trick. So I have started. I was trying to post a couple of videos here and there. I think it's a slow burner. I don't think you see results straight away. But I think I've just got to keep at it. Just posting when I think of an idea, or at least try and plan some ideas. So I try and consistently post a little bit more, because I haven't been doing that. Try and consistently post a little more and just build it up as much as I can, because it's clear. Yeah, it's very, very clear. It's working, and it's a lot of mortgage brokers are missing a trick.
Well, it could be the next biggest thing, or it could flop completely. I was a huge believer. Remember Clubhouse? Remember the audio platform Clubhouse during lockdown? I thought that was going to be huge, and now it's just gone. TikTok, I think, is here to stay. But
I think so.
When it comes to ideas, this was interesting when we spoke. I asked you, how do you come up with mortgage ideas? Social media post ideas. Where do you come up with them?
I'm probably not as I don't plan as probably much as I should, but it's more so when I've experienced something, or something's happened, or a question I've maybe had, and I just kind of think there on the spot, oh, that'll be a good post. I think that'll help some other people. So yeah, it's more from experiences and what I've seen happen, that I try and
asking those Q&As as well.
Yeah.
I think it can help from a social media point of view, but it can go full circle that if somebody is asking you how much you need for a buy-to-let mortgage, that's something when you're on the phone to somebody, when you're talking them to about buy-to-let mortgages, it can almost trigger a thought and go, actually, does this person understand how much deposit you need? So the social media comes up with an idea, which then can be planted back into the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I also did one time a poll on Instagram, which is quite a good tool, I think, if anyone does use Instagram. And I was asking, I thought I tried, as opposed to advise, giving information at that point, I was asking them what they wanted to see from me. So kind of telling them to give me the ideas. And, it worked. So I did a bit of a poll. What do people want to see? What would be helpful? And quite a few people came back on that poll and with ideas, and it was easy as that.
What were the questions on there? What were your topics that you said to people? What do you
I can't remember. I know the main question was like, what content do you want to see from me? And I did some options. I think it was I can't remember, affordability, what can I borrow, deposit, what do I need to put down? There was a few options, but then there was a comment box, so they could actually give me if I haven't, because there's only mortgage brokers, so we could talk about mortgages for days. There's so many aspects to it. So I gave a few options, and you could vote if there was something they saw on there that they'd like to know more about. But there was also like a free text box that they could give if I haven't come up with the idea. They could tell me. I got most from the free text box. So literally, simple question: what content do you want to see from me? Or what advice, and they could free text back.
There's two things there. The first thing is, I think the stuff that you've put on there, like affordability, how much deposit, that's quite mundane, and you do that every single day.
Yeah.
But you've had the foresight to go, it might be mundane to me, but it's really interesting to the audience. And this is what I say to people is, what you might find very mundane, people find really interesting. And then the second thing is, them interacting with the poll. On an Instagram poll, you can see who's voted for each area.
Yeah.
Or if they send you a message with what they want to see, it opens up a conversation. So I think we forget, sorry, I'm not a mortgage broker, so I'm not saying we as you, but you as mortgage brokers might forget that it can be quite daunting for somebody to approach a professional for mortgage advice. So if they can start with a poll, then send you a message about a photo of your cat or your dog, or a photo of you out for a walk, it just opens that door, doesn't it? Have you found that people you've started a random conversation, but then a few months down the line, they've asked you for business?
Absolutely. I would say, I get a lot of leads off socials, and I'd probably say 50%, a high percentage, we're in a general conversation, not actually looking at doing anything, and then they've either come back to me in the future because of that initial conversation, or they've just ended up after speaking to me for whatever reason, going ahead. So a high percentage, I would say, have come back to me.
It's similar. If I think about it, like, I'm not massively into cars, and you've got to take them for MOTs and everything. If I followed a mechanic on Instagram and he'd uploaded a funny few bits, like I play golf and he played golf, and I saw a few funny bits, when it came to my MOT, it'd be so much easier to speak to Jimmy, who'd set up this mechanic's Instagram, because he's a professional in my eyes. I don't want to get ripped off. I want good advice, but I feel like I know him through social. It's so much easier, isn't it, once you've started that conversation?
Absolutely. I think you've got it right there. You feel like you know that person, and that's what I want from that. That is the difference with my customers, and I would say majority of them have all said the same thing. They feel like they know me. I had one customer say, I feel like I've gained a friend in this process. I was like,
that's it. But then you'll never have to market to that person again, because they'll always come back. So that initial spending all that time on social at the beginning has reaped its benefits now. Well, social media, we've talked quite a lot about that, but I'm sure if you go and look at Hannie's page, Mortgages with Hannie and Co, you'll see exactly what we're talking about here with the content that she puts out. Right, so we are going to finish the podcast with the strategy question. So we're going to pretend that you've moved to the north of Scotland. You've got a laptop, a mobile phone, and an internet connection. What would you do to start generating mortgage leads?
It's a funny question, because I wouldn't change, changing location wouldn't change anything at all for me. Okay. I started my business from home in the middle of lockdown with just a laptop, a phone, and an internet connection. I knew no one that needed a mortgage. I had no leads ready to come in, so it would literally exactly what I've done. Social media, massive one. That was probably my savior. It brought just if you don't use it, you need to use it, because you're missing a lot of business on social media, and that's all I do. Facebook page, Instagram page, grow them as much as you can. It's as easy as that.
You're
That's all I
very
would do.
consistent. I look back through some of your content from the beginning. You're consistent with colours. You're consistent with the voice. If I scroll past on social and I see your colours, I automatically think of you. Even if I don't read the post, I've taken in your branding, and you've done it perfectly over the last couple of years. So,
thank you.
It's really exciting to see where the business will go as well.
Thank you so much.
So much for coming on the podcast. As a thank you, I'd like to donate £10 to a charity of your choice. Which charity would you like me to donate it to?
So I'm a patron of the Principal Trust's Children Charity. They support underprivileged, disadvantaged and disabled children across Yorkshire. So yes, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
So that's local as well then. That's nice.
Local, yes.
Local community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Hannie, thank you so much for coming on. Please, guys, go and connect with Hannie. If there's anybody out there thinking of launching a mortgage business, speak to Hannie. She's been there, she's done it, and I'm sure she'd have the time to have a chat with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming on, Hannie.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.